Well, the PodCar project in Ithaca for me came to an end in the fall of 2011, heading into winter 2011. And I had been living in a log cabin just north of Ithaca, in a little hamlet, beautiful, stunning, three waterfalls in my backyard, 40 plus acres of inaccessible land that I could go up with my dogs and cats and go swimming and hiking and what have you. And with the prospect of the Podcar project sort of off the table for me in its next iteration, I was sort of forced to figure out again sort of what's next in my life, and I just so happen in transition to meet a friend of a friend of a friend, and we started hanging out, and she was on her way to Belize in Central America. She and I ended up being together and having a loving relationship for a number of years, and she was literally a month away from departing and studying with a traditional medicine man, bush doctor, in the western provinces of Belize, formerly British Honduras, and right on the Guatemalan border. And she's studying medical anthropology, food as medicine, just sort of learning more about how to reconnect with the land and the traditional medicines and herbs, and create recipes and sort of different healing products from that. And so I traveled with her, and we lived in the Cayo district in Belize, and this is the McCall River here. And so it's, land of the Maya. And we landed there just as the clock was hitting 2012. So in the mystical year of 2012, when the Mayan calendar was set to restart or come to a conclusion or start a new age, it's where I was living. And so as she was studying with this medicine man, I was doing work at the facility that we were living in, which was an old watermelon farm, family farm, converted into an ecotourism resort, Crystal City, or Crystal Paradise, excuse me. And we as full-time residents there, as guests came and went, we were regulars. We ate in the kitchen every day. We got to know the staff. We got to know the family really well. We had access to vehicles. We took tours. We went in the caves. We floated down the river. We went swimming. We went to the Mayan ruins. And I helped redevelop their website. I helped sort of restructure a lot of the copy in their promotional material for an English speaking audience, and did some other consulting for them. A lot of people come down there for birding, and just all kinds of reasons. It's just a beautiful area, a lot of ancestral grounds. You go caving down there, and it's like they're going into the Middle Earth, and doing their ceremony, and it was magnificent. I got to work with my ex and the medicine man she was working with on doing a plant medicine trail. I was sort of the cartographer and the illustrator for that. And this was where I lived. We went to the Caribbean. We went to the Keys of Belize for a short stay. Um, and it was again one of those moments where I was just feeling so high to be alive, um, and being in environments like this and amongst people that are living simply. A lot of people in the neighborhood or village, if you want to call it that, around us, the locals didn't have two pennies to rub together, yet they shared. They each had different resources that they contributed to the whole. Every Friday night they were in church playing rock music and singing and dancing, and it was just a beautiful experience. And we had an open invitation to stay as long as we wanted, to go back and buy some property and live there. and it just, for different reasons, it wasn't going to work for us to move our entire lives to Central America. But it was definitely a blessing for me, and I had always wanted to travel south, and I'd been to Europe, I'd been all over the United States by now, lived in Colorado, lived in California, lived in New York, lived in Massachusetts, Florida. But to go to Central America and kind of be at the cusp of South America was, I made in 2012. I just really felt like something was clicking for me in my life, and it really helped me kind of reset a lot of things with me internally, and feel reconnected to kind of who I am deep down inside. And this is where I would show up and do work every day as the birds would come and eat out of their little melons and fruits and stuff. And we lived actually in a beautiful, almost like a mansion that was there. I don't know if there's photos of it here, but anyhow. And so we decided instead to move to Vermont, and we had an opportunity to live and work on a small family farm just outside of Brattleboro, Vermont, which was only about an hour north of where I grew up in Springfield, Massachusetts. So it was a little bit of a homecoming for me. I have friends still in the area and family in the area. So we, after living on the farm for about 5 months, decided to move into the town, which is right on the Connecticut River. Beautiful little artsy, funky, blue collar town. And we took over this building here, which was 1 story at grade with a 1 story below grade. This is a mural I painted on the side, and we opened Equilibrium, what we call the positive lifestyle environment. And this is one of the big interior rooms. It had 3 main rooms, one of which had our cafe, Superfresh Organic Cafe, over here, its original location. And then this was a crafters marketplace that we developed in this area. And then this space here was a performing arts area, mixed use yoga, meditation, and then we had storage and back room. And just I'll scroll through this real quick. I have tons of photos, but this is sort of some of the stuff that I found real quick on one of our old Facebook pages. This is where the new location of Superfresh is after we moved it. Equilibrium was at one point going to move into this 4-story building. We had plans for our restaurant here at the ground floor, a nightclub in the basement. We had offices and visual artist studios on the 2nd floor, a movement arts studio, yoga, meditation, dance studio on the 3rd floor, and then a healing arts practice suite on the top floor with a living roof. And this is the original cafe. It was really just almost like this sort of just, we've got some old rough timbers from a farm, and we built out these shelves and cleaned up the kitchen and got some simple utilities, and we were off and running. 100% organic, vegan, non-GMO, farm fresh food. And literally you would hand us a potato to make you your hash browns in the morning. So again, that's the building we were looking at. But we had all kinds of vendors. We had all kinds of events. We had, sound healing arts. We had, we had a sanctuary for Reiki and acupuncture and massage, one-on-one consulting, of course, the food that we were serving. So an entire community came together around this space, and we had healers come from all over the world and do ceremony. We had local vendors selling their food and their clothing. We had dance parties. We had live music. We had teen nights. We had you name it. It was sort of a cosmic come together of all of these interdependent groups in Brattleboro in the Southern Vermont area that needed a home, and we provided it. And so, I'll leave on this image here, like this was a weekly activity of ours, and this was just a fraction of the community. But I'll recall on our final solstice event, somebody saying, "I'll forever remember Brattleboro, Vermont as being before equilibrium and after equilibrium." And, I think that says it all.